Hey, I'm back from, if you can't tell by my tan, I was in Hawaii, for the first time. Let me make that smaller. Uh, shit, dude, I've never taken a vacation, which sounds, I guess, crazy. I'm fucking 39, so you'd think I would have gotten around to that by now, but, no, I haven't. And I did for the first time ever. Yay. Um Felt weird, I guess, to do it during this uptick. I mean, it's weird because I was already on the road and I'm in the middle of a fucking tour. So well, first real fast. Before I make this smaller, I'm going to make it bigger. Uh Get in on the Patreon if you haven't yet. It's gonna help keep this going, and make it better. If you're already in on it, you've already gotten stuff. If you're in like the higher tiers, I'm having like artists commission different things, and then for the higher tiers, you get it. That's a part of it, along with other like Patreon stuff. Like you get a coffee mug and a shirt and all these other things, and you just get to support, an artist doing what they want to do, and then you get a fucking podcast for free and all that fun stuff. The way of the future. All right. So anyway, um, website nickyoussef.com, all that stuff is there. Let's get that out of the way. Boom. Goodbye. It's fucking whatever you call that thing. This is the tour poster. That's the old one. We don't want to look at that one anymore. I'm an idiot. Um, Whatever. I'll get that one up. I woke up today, I had no idea where I was. Um, I thought I was in San Francisco, which that was in mid-December. I thought I was in Sacramento, even though that's not even on my tour schedule. Um, and then I thought I was in LA, which I was only there for like a day and a half. And then I like looked out the window and I'm like, where the fuck? And it took me 5 minutes to understand that I was home. Um, which I guess is a good feeling to have because it's been a year and a half since oh, I was able to go, be on the road and all that stuff. So, firstly, thanks to everyone that's come out to any of the shows so far. Houston, Arizona, the Pussifer Store, the San Francisco Punchline, which was fucking so much fun. That really made me feel like I'm like I'm getting getting the rust off, the road rust at least. I've been doing some stuff in in New York, like short sets and shit, just to sort of figure out some new stuff and just get my like rhythm back, and that's been fine. But getting out there and doing like 60, 75 minute sets and stuff, I was like, oh, that's gonna be fucking weird. So did a show in Philly, and that was like, I mean, you just could feel like, okay, what needs the grease? All of it. Let's just dip the whole fucking thing in grease. Um, and then the shows in Houston, I got to like really, do some like older stuff that was like new right before the world shut down, and then a couple of new things, and then Arizona obviously was fucking super fun, and the Pussifer Store show was fucking awesome. Jen and Maynard were fantastic. They were like, Jen runs that store, like, I mean, like no other record store I've been to. There's a barber shop downstairs. There's like, they screen print shirts and stuff, and they do like all the like amazing like merch ideas from, and everything from like soap to like, beautiful posters, um, everything in between. I mean, if you can think of a merch idea, they have a Pussifer merch thing for it, and it's like a fun place to be. Um, and so that show was really fun. It was Rory Scovel and and he was able to come out and do it, which was awesome. And he's like filming physical and stuff, so we had to like find a day that would work for him. And I was like, we have to do this together. We like started this whole like tool tour, and this is sort of like the because we weren't able to finish that because we had to like leave in the middle of March and deal with the whole shutdown. So I was like, it'd be fun to do this together. So we were able to, and that was rad. Um, and the audience, was super into it, super fun. And and it just worked out. It was just like it was a great way to like get back into the world, and we were safe and responsible. It was you had to be vaccinated. Everyone had to wear masks. So like that's kind of the layout of things right now. And same with San Francisco. The punchline shows were all you got to be vaccinated and you got to wear a mask if you're not eating or drinking. And you know, it could affect attendance, but that's whatever. That's the way it is. It's if you don't like it, then don't go out. Don't go to shows. I mean, I don't fucking like it, but that's the way it is. That's how to keep the performers safe, the employees who need to be there working. They don't want your fucking dumbass coughing all over everything. And, they got to be in there. They got to be breathing that air. So, um, you see people kind of go like, "Oh, well, this is bullshit," and it's like, okay, well, then you get refunds, or just don't go watch comedy. Like, watch a fucking Zoom show, torture yourself, you know. um. So yeah, and then so I put Maui on the tour poster because I was just going there. It was there's no shows. Although I considered it and I talked to a couple venues, and then I was like, I'm doing it again. I'm making myself work when I should just fucking take the time off. And the whole trip was like my best friend and I were like, let's go do something. Like, we've been friends for 25 years and like, we don't get to hang out much anymore. And let's do like, like a trip and stuff. And he was able to get time off during the Christmas week. So we went and did it. And he's been to Hawaii a few times and it was his idea. He's like, I love it. It's the best. It's just the air, the weather, the fucking sights and the sounds and the ocean and the mountains and the like. I mean, everything that you've ever heard about Hawaii. And I've never been there. I've never been anywhere tropical ever, or on a real vacation where there's no work involved. It's no like, oh, you're 3 days of fun, but then day two is a show. It was 7 days of nothing, which is it still feels weird to say that because I'm like, I get like, I'm like, I'm falling behind, and it's been like that my whole life. There were never really, I went to Lebanon once when I was like 12 or 13 or something. Um, and that's it. And I kind of feel like a guilty taking any time. I mean, before I couldn't afford to fucking go anywhere even if I wanted to, but then it's like I'm of the mindset like, well, I'll take a vacation when I deserve one, and I don't really ever think. I'm like, what am I celebrate? What am I taking time off from? Like, I'm always like, I'm not doing enough work, and um, and my girlfriend and my best friend and other friends will be like, just fucking relax, like just take a few days off and just enjoy it. So we did 7 days because I'd never been to Maui and there's like a lot to do. And knowing me, I'm like, I'm going to need the first 3 days just to feel okay about doing this. just to be like, it's fine. It's gonna be. I'm allowed to. And that's what it took. It took 2, 3 days for me to be like, I'm not gonna go get my computer out and start. Should I do a podcast while I'm here? We got like an Airbnb. There was definitely the space for it, and I'm like, I just do nothing. What is fucking wrong with you? What the fuck? So it took me a second to adjust to nothing. And by the time I did, I was like I aggressively want to do nothing. Like my friend was like, "Oh, we should go like on this there's a boat trip or we can go on like a hike or we can." And I was like, "I want to just go to the beach, put a towel down and not use my body or head for anything for 5 hours. Maybe I'll get up and reapply sunscreen, but I have genetic sunscreen. It's called being Middle Eastern." So, that's what I did. We did a boat ride, which, by the way, I discovered something about myself. And it's never happened before in the 39 years I've been alive. And I don't know, a handful of boat things I've been on. Never been motion sick ever. In a boat, a car, roller coasters that fucking like, do the whole thing. And I got on this boat. We went from Maui to Lanai, and I don't know, 90-minute boat ride, and the weather wasn't crazy. It was like a little choppy, and I felt like a little like, "Oh, dude, what? That's weird. What's this feeling all about?" And it kind of went away, and I was like, I was anyway back to enjoying the sights and the ocean and the fucking there was dolphins like swimming around and all, and it was like cool. I was like, yeah, I've never seen like Maui's one of those places that you see a lot of photos of growing up, and you see it on TV and in movies, and same with Washington D.C. And I had similar experiences going to both for the first time while I was looking at the stuff. Like in Washington D.C., I was like sitting there looking at the Lincoln Monument or looking at the reflecting pool or whatever, and my eyes and mind saw like a television screen. I was looking through a screen at the place. And then I'm like, no, I'm here. This is real. I can walk up to this. That's what was happening in Maui for the first day or two. I'm like looking at the islands, from the boat, and then I'm like looking at the dolphins and all that stuff. And I was like, ugh, this is happening. I'm at the place, which is like really unsettling. You spend so much of your life like just seeing things through a screen or through like photos and stuff, and it like fucks you up a little when you're like seeing it in person. You're like, God, how much of my life have I just been you know watching through a screen, or like experiencing it vicariously through someone else's experience, whether it's like fictional, a movie, a book, or a documentary or something. And I was just like, man, that sucks that I'm like not drawing from my own memories. I'm drawing from like a memory of an experience someone else had from home. Like fucking boring, So it was nice to kind of break that one down, like the island tropical experience. I was like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing it. Next time I see that, I'll go, oh, that was like my real life, Maui experience. Um, so so yeah, we're on the boat, and then I like I had this crazy like sort of seasick thing, and I'm like, fuck me, is this really gonna? But then we get there, we land, not land, um, we dock on Lanai, and that's an island that you can't go to really and like stay and visit, and like there's no like town with regular fucking locals and shit like that. It's owned by Larry Ellison, the Oracle Google guy. Um, he has many billions of dollars and he bought the whole island, which fucking should be illegal, I think. How do you fucking do that? Like, you just, I mean, I guess it's been privately owned and then they like, but that should have been like, fucking give it back to the Hawaiians. Or it should just be part of the state where anyone can fucking go. How is it he gets it? It's because we live in America and that's what happens. Anyway, this fuckhead owns Lanai, and I guess he's been good to the island. He's building roads and conservation stuff. Blah blah blah. But there's the only way to get there is to take this fucking boat tour that costs X amount of money, and then you can only hang out in one area, and then the only other thing there is a Four Seasons that costs like $1 trillion an hour or something. So we get there, we dock and we walk up, to this like beach where there's snorkeling. And that was part of the trip. Like you get there, they give you the snorkeling equipment. I've never been snorkeling, so that was going to be a new thing too. So we get there, we set up all this snorkeling shit, and then I get in the water and put the mask on and dip my head in, and then the way you're viewing things through that through that mask with the water going back and forth gave me motion sickness, which I guess I was already sort of like getting a little bit of it from the boat, and there wasn't enough time for it to, I guess, settle. So I put my head in the water, and then the water's kind of moving around, but your body and your eyesight is not kind of used to that, and I've never done it before, and I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. So I get my head out of the water and I was like, well, I don't like that. What the fuck? So I kind of swim around for a bit and I go, all right, let me go under again. And then I sort of once or twice, and then I kind of just make myself just like, no, just get used to it. Like, look down and get used to it. And look at these fucking tropical fish swimming in the reef. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. All right. Yeah, we're doing it. Fucking snorkeling. And there's a turtle and there's a fish. And I'm going to try and reach it. And it's going to run and be like, what's this human doing here? And, that whole deal. So I do that for a few minutes and then it happens again. I'm just like, oh, I feel queasy. And I get my head out of the water and I'm like, dude, is this going to be. And they were supposed to do like two other boat related things later in the week. And the idea of them was making me queasy. And then I'm like, we still got to take a boat back. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try to snorkel like a couple more minutes. And then I do, and it starts happening again. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm getting out of the fucking water. So I get out of the water, and obviously it's not that miserable because I get out of the water and I'm still in Hawaii. So I do that, and then I just kind of sit there and I tell the boat guy, if there's a part of you that's like, I'm fine, and then I'm like, that's stupid. That's not going to make anything better. I'm going to go to the boat tour people and I'm going to go, what do I need to take? Give me a Dramamine with this ginger root capsules. I'm like, fucking send it all into my face. So they're like, oh yeah, yeah, no, bro, this is totally common. It happens to people snorkeling, believe it or not. Like the boat thing, it's not that weird. We've been doing this 30 years. We've seen every version of it. I was like, all right. He's like, just take these ginger pills, sit down, 15 minutes, you'll be fucking gold. I was like, okay. So I took them, and then sure as hell, 10, 15 minutes later, I was like, oh, I feel totally fine. And then we like did like a little mini hike up to the top of the cliff, and we're looking around. I had my camera and I was like, yeah, cool. I feel totally normal. And then it's time to eat. So we gather all our shit and then we head over to this like kind of outdoor dining area. And the part of the boat tour is they make you food. They do this like, glazed chicken with like, kind of tropical mango Hawaiian teriyaki, whatever, fucking something. It was pretty good. And they do this like stir fry kind of dish. And I was like, this is great. And it's all you can eat. So I obviously had like three fucking plates. And I was like, okay, yeah, good. We're back. We're fucking good to go. That was just like a little blip on the radar, sort of like it's a problem was there, gone, good. Let's fucking get my ass on the. I'll fucking drive the boat. Like that's how ready I am. So we get back on the boat. 4 minutes, I'm ready to puke. I don't even know, dude. It was like how? What, like, it's never happened. And I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, I never get air sick too. And I'm like, fuck, what? And the only thing I could think is I am on two different types of medicine that cause one of the side effects is upset stomach, nausea, lightheadedness, dizziness, which has happened from time to time, but it'll be like for a minute or something, it'll go away. And I'm like, it's got to be that. It has to be the depression anxiety meds because this is not normal. This is not me. And I'm like, damn, man, like I thought I got lucky with these meds where I was like, cool, I'm one of the zero side effect people. And that was one of them. That's the only thing. So then I sit in the back of the boat where they're like it's more steady and I'm just like this is me. Like first I'm sitting like this and then I'm like and then I have to like hold my head up and then I'm like for what felt like 60 hours. And in reality it was 20 minutes. I was like, this is never going to end. I'm going to be on this boat forever. I'm going to throw up all my insides. And then it's just going to be a set of eyeballs looking at a giant pile of vomit. That's going to be me. And I couldn't not think of it. So I tried meditating. Fucking good luck with that. I tried looking at a stable sort of like piece of land or some fixed object they say. So I'm like looking at this like rope that's tied to the end of the railing on the boat. I was like, no. I looked at Lanai as it got more distant, and I was just like, nope, that's also fucking not good. And eventually, I was like, what if I close my eyes? And then it sort of helped, but then not. And then I was like, what if I just look down at my fucking knee or something? I ran out of things, and it just. And I was like, I'm sure another 70 hours has gone by because I've been here for an eternity for sure. And 10 more minutes have gone by and I'm like, there's no way I'm not vomiting. I'm going to puke all over myself. I can't get up because it'll make it happen right away. And then I just start fucking sweating. I'm sitting there like holding my head and I'm just like I feel like like I'm sweating equal amounts all up and down my body. Usually you feel it here and then it's like a little there. I felt it like on my cheeks, in my neck, on my shoulders, my chest, and I was like, did I just get splashed with water that I don't feel? No, I'm bone fucking dry all around me. The table, the ground, my clothes, but my entire body is just and the waves were getting out into the middle and the waves are just getting fucking choppy and we're just like we're this amount of like and it just won't end. And then my friend comes back and he's like, dude, where have you been? They're saying there's gonna be like whales and shit out in front of us. And I was like, um I'm good here. I sound like I'm just slurring my spit. Good here. And he comes back like a couple minutes later, he's like, are you not okay? I'm like, I might puke. And he's like, fuck. So he's like, well, what do you need? I'm like, just whatever they have that will work. That's like not a not controlled substance, obviously. Um, then he comes back with a Dramamine. He's like, it's a non-drowsy Dramamine. Take it, have a glass of water, and just chill. Like you should be fine. I pound the glass of water with the Dramamine, and then 5 minutes later, I am drowsier than I've ever been in my life. And I don't know if that's just a placebo effect because I wasn't sure. I was like, no, it still probably makes you drowsy, or if my body was just like, we're done, call it. It's no, we're done. We're not participating in this anymore. We're sweating everything out. We don't like where we are. Shut it down. And I think that's what it was. My body was just like, call it. And then I just went like this. I went like that, and then I just went. And then the next thing I remember is people going, wow, oh my God, a whale. So there's fucking apparently every whale in the Pacific Ocean was having a fucking orgy next to our boat. I mean, people couldn't have been more excited to see what they were seeing. The whales are fucking. They're 69ing. Look at that whale cock. Like, it was like the greatest thing in the world was happening. And the idea of standing up to go see it made my stomach just go like this sinking sort of like bubbly, like it's all coming up. And I was like, good night. And I just went back to sleep. And I woke up again to more whale fucking. I don't know if like what they had strap-ons and vibrators now. I don't know how it could get more exciting where they're like they have sex technology, like so people were, cheering and hollering over that, and then I just went no, and I fell asleep again, and then I woke up and we were pulling up to shore. And the only reason I woke up to that is because finally the waters were kind of still, and then my body was just like, hey, it's get the engines going, get the body up and running. And I woke up and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get out. I'm like finally getting off this. But how long have we been at sea? Like 4 months? I think it was about 75 minutes. And I get off the boat and I wanted to kiss the fucking ground. I wanted to get on my knees and be like, thank you, solid ground. But I couldn't do any drastic movements. I'm like, I just need to just walk and look straight. And we walked around for like an hour in Lahaina, I guess is what is it? Lahain, Lahaina. That's kind of like the bigger touristy part of Maui. And I was like, I can't get in the car. If I get in the car, I'm probably just gonna be like. And then I got in the car, and it was just like a little kind of touch and go, and I was like, damn it, I didn't expect that to be a part of the trip, but so then, I was like, you can take me off the other two boat trips. I can't do them. And he was like, oh, that's a bummer. Well, we'll cancel the one later in the week, but he was going to go do the one that was like literally the next day. And I was just like, I am going to go to the fucking gym or just sit or lay out at the beach. Anything that doesn't involve this shit, you know? Um, And the thing the next day was a whale watching thing, a whale watching snorkeling thing, which I fucking would have loved to go. So they take you out and then drop you in this like little crescent shaped little thing off the coast of or Molokai, maybe. I don't even fucking know what I'm talking about. And then you just get in the water and you can apparently watch the whale orgy or whatever the fuck it was like up close. And I was like, I want to watch whales screwing each other in the face. But I'm like, I don't want to puke into my snorkeling mask. So, no. So then we just took it pretty easy for the trip. I was like, I just want to go lay out at the beach and do nothing. And we went down to Wailea, which is like the Beverly Hills of fucking Maui. Like the streets are all nice and there's like more like estate looking homes and there's like another Four Seasons and there's an Andaz and there's a Fairmont. It's very rich and like it doesn't feel islandy and sort of like a getaway. I mean, unless it's like, that's your idea of a getaway is going to a hotel that looks like every other fucking hotel and. But I was like, no, no, this doesn't feel like an island. Fuck this shit. So we went south of that, and there's a beach there called this Big Beach and Little Beach, and that is like what you envision Maui to be. And we just chilled there, and I was just like, after that, I was like, I'm back to normal. I'm getting some fucking sun, and I feel good, and I'm just like, and that was, I think, the turning point when I was like, I'm on vacation, and I'm okay with it. And there were still flashes of like I should be doing something. Like but for the most part, I was like, I'm on vacation, and it doesn't feel like any day right now. Which is, I think, where when you're on vacation, where you're like, what is it? December? Is it Christmas? Is it the 23rd? Is it like what? I don't even know what anything is in terms of time and responsibility. I am on vacation. Um, and it was pretty good. And we did the road to Hana, which is a crazy long drive with just every type of climate and geography that Maui has to offer. Totally recommend it. Do it super fucking early though, and expect a lot of stuff to be closed because of COVID related things. Either people moved because there was no work, or they're afraid to get sick, or they are sick. Any combination. Although they didn't get a lot of cases there, but getting what made me feel safer about going there is getting in to Hawaii is like you got to go through fucking hoops of proving that you are not sick, or that you are fully vaccinated and all that stuff. So I was like, fucking no one here is gonna have COVID. And they had, there were barely any cases. Maybe like by the last day we left, they were like, oh, this Omicron thing is getting um bigger, so more cases might be coming. And fine, whatever. um we were in and out with no issue. But fuck, man, I want to go. I want to go back to different islands this time. I think as fun as Maui was, I still think it's too touristy. And I know technically I'm a tourist going there, but I want to not be a part of that tourism. I want to go, like, we got like an Airbnb, so it was like part of like an existing apartment condo thing. We weren't doing the hotel thing and being in like these, just like fucking swarms of just like pasty, disgusting families that are just like towards everything. They're just like, must get to retail store. And they just like, you're walking down the street and then you're just all of a sudden you're engulfed by this like fucking family of like, they're wearing pastels and weird cargo shorts, and they're just like talking to each other through you, and they don't notice that you're there, and they're in the fucking way. And I'm like, and I don't even live here and I feel like that. Imagine if you're one of the fucking locals. So the next time I go, I want to go to one of the smaller islands and do like you can stay on a fucking farm and work with the people, like volunteer a little bit, so it like you're giving back as well as getting a vacation out of this place that we fucking stole from a kingdom of people. So, you know, you want to like lessen the guilt, I guess, while you're doing it. But um the uh the souvenir shop, like, you want to find something unique, get good luck. There every store is the same store with the same stuff, run by an angry older Asian lady and her 53 sisters, because they all act the same about the prices and their fucking attitude when you ask a question. I'm like, were you guys all trained by the same person, or you guys are just related and this is how the family business works? Like, what? You're trying to be nice, and they're no. You're like, okay, geez, I'm just asking about like if you have a large, and they're like, you can be a medium or an XL. I'm like, can't be both. That's weird. I can't be a medium and an XL, and also I am neither. I'm a large. So if you don't have a large, don't yell at me. I'll just leave. Um, I had that happen 5 fucking times. And it's all the same. You think at least there's like more variation. Is it only 3 companies making every fucking hat and shirt for Maui? And then the same hat is like 15 here, 21 there, 29 there, 34 here. And you're like, so I'm like, I'm not buying any of this shit unless I find something locally made by local artists. And so that became part of the hunt, which it usually is when I travel. I'm like, I want to find something local or vintage or both. Um, it's hard, man. It's like, it's, it's super fucking touristy, and it's hard to sort of manage those expectations, because you're like, oh, it's going to be like it's the smaller, more the quieter of the islands, because there's Oahu and the Big Island, and those are like, there's full on cities there, and there's a ton of tourism, which I'm like, that wouldn't have been fun. Maui was fun and cool, but I think the next time I want to do a smaller one, and and experience it on like a more local level, and you know I think that would be like the way to do it and feel like more comfortable and sort of like lessen the guilt. So we'll see, but like it was weird too because it's like there's a lot of contrast on that island. It's there's almost no middle ground for anything. It's like it's an island of contrast. It's locals, full scale tourism, nothing in between. There's ocean, tropical jungle, like left, right, and not a lot in between. It's very like intense in that way, but it makes it beautiful because you're either living there fully working or you're fully on vacation. It's there's so many sharp contrasts that it just titillates your senses in ways that it doesn't. Um I guess the only thing that didn't have contrast was the climate, the weather. Was it perfect all day, every day, even when it was cloudy or rainy or sunny, which is really strange. My friend told me that. It was just like, no matter what, all the time you feel great. So you're like, you're wearing a jacket, fine. You have the jacket off, also fine. And it's like, how is that even, is that possible? But it was possible. It felt great all the time. And everyone's on Maui time, which is very like things are just, which is also like small town time. And things just, take a little longer because no one's in a fucking New York. Get the fuck out of my. Um, and people ordering something or paying for groceries, they will stop and have a complete conversation with the cashier. And no one in line goes, there's none of that. They just kind of wait, look around. Maybe they'll jump in the conversation. I ate there yesterday. No, it's really good. Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's fine. Yeah, we got nothing to do. We live in fucking Maui. So that took a little getting used to. But once you do, you're like, all right. Well, what else are we gonna do? I'm gonna leave here and go back to the beach. You know, sit in a park, fucking drive, look at a jungle like setting. It doesn't. None of that's going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. So like settling into Maui vacation time is like it's a little bit of a process when you're not used to that. I had to just forego good coffee. I was like, I'm just gonna have a lot of decent Hawaiian coffee, and I'm gonna have to be okay with that. And the result was I had a lot more of it because it wasn't like strong in the way you want or just like made it never really like satisfied. And we brought an AeroPress with some ritual coffee roasters, and that was good, but it was like, nah, this we need more. um so overall it was like I was glad I did it. It was fun. And there's, this is not like a look at all the crazy shit that happened on this, island trip episode, but that was kind of the point. Like that was the hurdle to get across. And, just like they tell you when you're meditating, it's like these are just thoughts in your mind, and they're only as real as you make them. And I'm like, it's going to be okay to go do nothing. Everything will be the same when I get back. I'm doing it during a period where everyone else is doing nothing. It's the holidays. So just fucking go and let go. And I was 95%. I mean, that's 90%. I was 90% able to do it. And I'm glad I did. And it makes me want to just sort of find ways to do it again and feel good about it. Um, and that's just like a part of it's part like ironically it's a part of the work. I guess finding finding a week to not work is a part of the work that kind of makes you a better person towards yourself, I guess, which is like a huge problem I face. It's never good enough. I'm never doing it well enough, hard enough, fast enough. It's never enough. So um I think even maybe starting with 2 or 3 days or something, if that's sort of an issue. It's like just allow yourself nothing because it ends up being something. Um, Anyway, so now we're back. I'm back. Fucking here. I got a tie-dye shirt, which I did not get from Hawaii. I got it from when I drove across the country during the COVID lockdown because I wanted to avoid big cities and flying. It's from a coffee shop called River Rock Coasting, somewhere in middle of nowhere, Utah. Um, but it's good, dude. They did a good job. This is for a coffee shop. The shirt quality is good. The tie dye job is great. The art was by a local artist. That's my new thing is getting uh shirts from coffee shops because they're like putting the work in to make good merch, especially these third wave places where it's all about sourcing and local and sustainability and all that. Like, there's some fucking rad coffee shop shirts out there. I'll do that more than getting like some random shirt at a vintage shop because eventually this will be vintage if I fucking wear it long enough. Um, so yeah, now I went back to LA for a second and didn't see anybody obviously, but I had like you know, just fucking bullshit delayed flights trying to get back to New York so I could move, which I found a place um and I think Sunday is Sunday is the move, and then that Friday I'm back out there. I'll be in Iowa, Dubuque, Iowa, at the Comedy Bar. Um, they have a few locations. They have Jesus, dog just like had a nightmare and fucking sprung out of his goddamn bed. Man, you guys heard that jingle of the just fucking now he's just staring at me. He's like, "Did you see that? Like, what was that?" I'm like, "You don't know what a dream is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking." Uh, idiot dog. I love that dog. Um, so yeah, they have Dubuque, Chicago, and then I think in Nashville, and then they're gonna do one other. But cool venue. I'll be there January 7th and 8th. Website tickets, obviously, and then after that, it keeps going. I'll be in Bryan, Texas. I'll be in Mobile, Alabama, Lafayette, Louisiana, Austin, Texas, then Eau Claire, Wisconsin, then Washington, D.C., then Burlington, Vermont, and then Asheville, North Carolina. Um, NickYoussef.com. Tickets. If you live in one of those areas, come. If you're on the upper tier of the Patreon and you come, I'm going to hand you a fucking tour poster. How's that sound? Uh, Anyway, I'm gonna do a moving episode tomorrow. I think I needed to get this one out, and um, it feels good to be back. It feels good to have done a non-Christmassy thing for Christmas, and it feels good to have an official vacation under my belt. So here we go. See ya. I think tomorrow.